What's up guys, IC Dude here. Welcome to my draft analysis of Season 6 of TAL. We are finally hosting it after an entire year and I'm excited to share the team I drafted with you guys. Before we get into the team, let's take a look at the rules. Each coach is given 110 points to draft 9 mons, and this is a lower tier draft league. This is a Wi-Fi draft league which will happen on console, and you will have 2 to 3 Terra captains. Coaches are required to declare their Terra types just before their game. For example, while searching for their opponent or picking the order of their mons for battle. There are 2 divisions, Blaziken and Infinite, and I'm in the Infinite divisions. During playoffs, coaches from one division will be playing against a coach from another division. For example, an Infinite coach will be playing against the Blaziken coach. So there's a chance to have similar mons in the battlefield. For example, 2 Regidrakos or 2 Infinites or something like that. Yeah. So now let's get into the draft order. So this was my draft order. I don't know why, but these days in draft, I'm always in the middle, which makes it difficult to pick and I have a higher chance of getting sniped. Luckily, I was only sniped once, which was at the start, and the rest of the mons were the ones I wanted. So let's get into the mons I drafted. The first mon I drafted was Mudsdale. I was really looking forward to drafting Mudsdale as it's really fun to use. There's the ability Stamina, which increases defense as long as it takes an attack. It gets Stealth Rock and has a huge attack stat. The sets I have in mind are Choice Band, Stealth Rock Support, or even Assault Vest. It gets decent move coverage in terms of close combat, body press, heavy slam, and Stone Age. Yeah. The second mon I drafted was Bronzong. Spoiler alert, before the draft even started, I wanted to draft Alolan Golem and Mudsdale. So the rest of the mons that were drafted were built around these two. So Bronzong has a lot of resist, like in terms of Psychic, Ice, Grass. I can even name more, but I can't think of any now. And it also gets Levitate, so ground type attacks won't work on it. I can also surprise opponents by bringing Heat Proof in certain matchups. It also gets access to Stealth Rock, Trick Room, and Stored Power. I mean, I've been a fan of Trick Room lately if you have seen my spring seasonal draft, so I would be using it, like at least in one matchup. The next mon I drafted was Amoonguss. Yep. I was quite surprised no one picked it as it was the most expensive mon out there and worth the price. Spore is allowed and it has access to Regenerator. It'd be a good grounded poison, so Toxic Spikes won't have any effect on my team. I can either run it physically or specially defensive. And it gets decent move coverage in terms of Foul Play, Stomping Tantrum, Toxic Synthesis, Sludge Bomb, Giga Drain, yeah. Okay, while making my 4th pick, I realized I've only picked defensive mons and I didn't want my draft team to be a stall. So I picked Staraptor. The last time I used it was during the BDSP era, and this thing hits like a truck. I have Ghost and Ground immunities, and the abilities it gets are Intimidate and Reckless. Reckless increases damage of Brave Bird and Double Edge, and the sets I can run are Scarf, Bandit, or Heavy Duty Boots, and it has decent speed to outspeed. I mean, base 100 is actually average, I think, but it's still quite good. So, and now the 5th mon I drafted was the Alolan Golem. So this is the mon I was really looking forward to using for the entire draft. And it's also my Terra captain. Even though with the double ground weakness, I can always Terra into any type. Or probably an offensive typing or a defensive typing. I also get Stealth Rocks. The abilities it gets are Galvantalize, which, if I'm not wrong, turns normal type attacks into electric. For example, Body Slam, Double Edge, and even Explosion. I also have Magnet Pull, which traps steel types, and Sturdy makes me live at 1 HP from full health. Since I have good defenses, I can even use it under Trick Room from Bronzong. So far, all my every member in my team is slow other than Staraptor. And the 6th mon I drafted was Sneasel. I mainly drafted it because of its speed. It still gets the moves Weavile get, like Knockoff, Triple Axel, Sword Stance, and Ice Shard. But the thing is that I can run Eviolite to make it even tankier than Weavile. I can even run Bandit, Heavy Duty Boots, or even Life Op sets. And with This is also my second Terra captain, and I can even Terra into offensive type like Fire, Dragon, Fairy, just for better move coverage. The 7th mon I drafted was Hitmonchan. In all my drafts, I tend to draft a fighting type, and since Infinite was taken early, I went for Hitmonchan. It gets access to Rapid Spin, and this will be my only hazard removal on my team. I feel like it's better than Hitmonchan and Hitmonlee and Hitmontop, cause it gets all the elemental punches, and the ability it gets is Iron Fist, which boosts all punching moves. The sets I can run are Life Orb, Punching Glove, if I'm not wrong, that's what it's called, Assault Vest, and the moves, those are the sets I can run, and the moves I can run are all the punching moves plus a Rapid Spin. If I'm not wrong, it also gets access to Bulk Up and Swords Dance, but I need to check just in case, yeah. Also, I realized I need a special wall, and since I had lots of points compared to the rest, I drafted Flodgers. Flodgers was such an expensive pick, but I feel like it's worth it. It gets a bunch of recovery moves in terms of Wish, Protect, and Synthesis. It has a gigantic special defense stat, and it gets moves such as Psychic Noise, Moonblast, and Carmine. I can even run Specs or Scarf sets since it has decent special attack and speed. So after drafting Flodgers, I realized I only have one point left, so the remaining pick I went for Crocolore. I've used it before, and with Terra it's such an underrated wall. It gets Unaware, so setup won't work on it. I know it doesn't get Torch Song, but it still gets access to Wisp and Roar. I will probably run it with Evilite to make it bulkier. So, these are the mons I drafted. Personally, I feel it's a very balanced team and I'm quite satisfied with it, which is quite rare. Usually after I draft a team, I'll feel like I have a bit of gaps to fill up, and I can trade it for like other better mons, but I'm quite satisfied with this team. And I probably won't be doing any transactions and keep this team for the rest of the season. I'm also worried about hazards, cause that's the only problem I think I have. Cause Hitmonchan is my only hazard removal, and of course I can't bring it for every matchup. Weather teams will also be annoying, so I need to watch out for that. If I'm not wrong, in my division there's Sun, Rain, and Hail. Yeah, so it can be pretty annoying. So my week 1 game is against a Rain team, and hopefully all goes well. So that's all. See you guys next time. Bye bye.